In recent years, a strange and frustrating picture has become familiar to people all around the world. On one side, you have the barren landscape of a local supermarket. Entire aisles are stripped bare, with empty shelves where essential goods once stood. Products from electronics to household staples are simply unavailable, marked by apologetic signs that promise they are coming soon. Consumers face delays and shortages for items they have long taken for granted. This scarcity creates a tangible sense of disruption in everyday life, a puzzle that seems to have no immediate or obvious solution, leaving many to wonder where the products have gone and when they might return. Simultaneously, an entirely different scene unfolds just off the coast of major economic hubs. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, of massive cargo ships sit idle in the water, forming a floating city of steel containers. These vessels are fully laden with the very goods missing from store shelves, yet they remain anchored for weeks, sometimes even months, unable to dock and unload their precious cargo. The ships represent a colossal traffic jam at sea, a bottleneck of global commerce visible from space. Each container is a capsule of commerce, filled with products that have completed a long journey across the ocean, only to halt at the final mile, tantalizingly close to their destination. This presents a fundamental contradiction at the heart of our modern economy. How can there be widespread scarcity on land while a massive surplus of goods floats just offshore? The products exist, they have been manufactured, and they have been shipped across vast distances. Yet a final, seemingly insurmountable barrier prevents them from reaching the businesses and customers who are waiting for them. The physical distance between the waiting ships and the empty stores is negligible in the context of a global journey, yet it is proven to be an impassable chasm, disrupting the flow of goods on an unprecedented scale and affecting millions. The disconnect between supply and availability points to a deeper complexity within the systems we rely on every day. It is not a simple problem of production, nor is it merely an issue of transportation. The ships are waiting and the shelves are empty. This paradox suggests that the intricate network connecting factories to consumers has broken down in a way that is not immediately apparent. Understanding this contradiction requires looking beyond the map, beyond the simple lines drawn between countries, and into the hidden mechanics of the global supply chain, a system far more complex and fragile than many have ever realized. At its core, a global supply chain is the vast, interconnected network of organizations, people, activities, information, and resources involved in moving a product from its initial source to the final customer. It is the circulatory system of the world economy, a complex web that ensures raw materials are transformed into finished goods and delivered across borders. This system is not a single straight line, but a sprawling ecosystem with countless nodes and pathways. It begins with the extraction of raw materials, minerals from a mine, cotton from a farm. These materials then travel to factories for processing and assembly, often passing through multiple countries and facilities before becoming a recognizable product. The structure of this network is designed for efficiency and cost reduction. Companies meticulously plan each step to minimize expenses, sourcing cheap materials, and optimizing transportation routes. The chain is composed of upstream and downstream flows. Upstream activities involve sourcing materials and components from suppliers. Downstream activities focus on distributing the final products to distributors, retailers, and ultimately, consumers. Information flows in both directions, with orders from customers triggering production requests that travel all the way back to the raw material suppliers. This constant exchange of data is crucial for coordinating the actions of every participant in the chain. Think of the journey of a simple smartphone. Its components are sourced from dozens of different countries. The processor might be made in Taiwan, the memory chips in South Korea, and the screen in Japan. These individual parts are shipped to a final assembly plant, often located in China, where they are put together by a different company. Once assembled, The finished phones are packaged and loaded into shipping containers. They then begin their long voyage across the ocean to various continents. This intricate dance of production and logistics happens for millions of products every single day, operating on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. This entire process is far more than just physical movement. It is a system built on relationships, contracts, and financial transactions. Each link in the chain represents a separate business with its own interests and operational procedures. The successful functioning of the global supply chain depends on the seamless integration of all these disparate parts. From the moment an order is placed to the final delivery, every step is carefully choreographed. When this system works as intended, it operates almost invisibly, delivering a steady stream of affordable goods to consumers around the world. It is a modern marvel of coordination and engineering. When supply chains falter, one of the most frequently cited reasons is a shortage of people. The intricate system of global trade relies on a massive workforce, and disruptions to this labor pool can have immediate and widespread effects. The trucking industry in particular faces a chronic shortage of qualified drivers. With an aging workforce and fewer young people entering the profession, containers can sit at ports for extended periods, creating a backlog that ripples backward. Similarly, warehouses and distribution centers struggle to find enough workers to sort and pack the immense volume of goods. The result is a slowdown in the entire downstream portion of the supply chain. The global health crisis that began in 2020 served as a massive, unprecedented shock. Widespread lockdowns forced factories to shut down, creating a severe supply-side constraint. Simultaneously, a dramatic shift in consumer behavior, away from services and towards goods, placed enormous strain on a system calibrated for a different product mix. But calling the crisis the sole cause is an oversimplification. It was a stress test, exposing vulnerabilities already in the system. The crisis amplified pre-existing weaknesses, like lean inventory models, and pushed them to a breaking point. It was the catalyst that turned latent fragilities into a full-blown crisis. Beneath the surface lies a deeper driver, the philosophy of just-in-time manufacturing. The core principle is to minimize waste and cost by producing goods only as they are needed, relying on a perfectly coordinated supply chain instead of maintaining expensive stockpiles. When everything works, it's a remarkably effective way to operate, enabling the proliferation of affordable consumer goods. However, this relentless pursuit of efficiency creates a critical vulnerability. By design, a just-in-time system has almost no slack. There are no large warehouses of spare parts to draw upon if a shipment is delayed. The entire chain is so tightly interconnected that a small disruption can have immediate, cascading effects. The system is optimized for a perfect world, not one filled with unexpected shocks. This inherent fragility is a direct trade-off for efficiency. So why take the risk? The financial incentives are powerful. For an individual firm, reducing inventory is a rational, profitable decision. The company saves money, but the risk of a stockout is effectively transferred to its customers and the broader economy. The immediate certain savings from lean inventories are prioritized over the uncertain but massive costs of a systemic breakdown. This creates a tragedy of the commons. Each company, pursuing its own self-interest, contributes to a collective vulnerability that ultimately harms everyone. The costs of fragility are invisible on the balance sheet until the moment the system fails. One of the most direct impacts is on consumer prices. When the cost of moving goods increases tenfold, those costs are absorbed into the final price of everything from food to electronics, reducing households' purchasing power worldwide. In response, many companies are exploring reshoring, bringing manufacturing back home, or nearshoring to nearby countries. This geographic rebalancing will reshape global trade patterns. When we step back, a coherent picture emerges. The global supply chain didn't break from a single failure. It faltered because the logic that made it so successful, relentless optimization for efficiency, also made it incredibly fragile. This pursuit of efficiency systematically eliminated buffers and redundancy. Like a racing engine on a rocky road, the system had no shock absorbers. The surface causes were merely sparks that ignited a structure already built to burn. The final insight is this. The crisis we have witnessed is a crisis of incentives. We built a global engine that prioritizes short-term efficiency above all else. This leads to the final tension. Who is responsible for changing the incentives, and who should pay the price for resilience? How we navigate this will determine the shape of the global economy for decades to come. You've been watching System Atlas, exploring how the world's systems really work. Share your comments below. See you in our next episode.